Welcome to the Prophetic Spiritual Warfare podcast with host Kathy DeGraw. In this teaching, learn how to receive and release the ministry of deliverance and conquer spiritual warfare led by the Holy Spirit. Kathy is passionate about exposing the enemy and assisting people to conquer torment in their minds. Kathy's new book, Mind Battles, Root Out Mental Triggers to Release Peace, can be ordered wherever books are sold. Now, get ready to receive revelation, impartation, and deliverance with Kathy DeGraw.
Hey friends, I want to welcome you back to my show, and I'm excited to bring you a message today that I haven't talked too much about in the past, and I actually was receiving some new revelation while I was writing my most recent book, Mind Battles, and it was very interesting because I was interviewing some people to get some thoughts, add a little bit different thoughts and feelings and insights into my book, Mind Battles. And as I did, oh my goodness, just something really came to the forefront. And Mind Battles is really about fear. It's about stress, anxiety, worry, depression, fear. It's about those mind-binding spirits. But we were researching, what are the root causes? What are the legal rights? What are the entry points? What's behind that trigger of fear? And I think, when we're depressed, when we have stress, anxiety, worry, all of that, I think it all roots in fear. We get depressed because we're afraid of rejection, or we're not in faith for finances. We have that stress, that worry, that anxiety, but it's all rooted in a fear. Now, let's go deeper, can we? I'm really excited for this because I really believe it's going to break some of you free. And I want to go at this from two aspects. I want to go at this from a place of people that you know and yourself. But when we think about fear, it really can have, I'm not saying all the time, but I think the majority, it can have a driving force of, I can't control something, so I fear it. Fear and control co-labor together. Whew, I just feel the Lord coming and affirming that right now as I say that again. And guys, I was bound in fear for over 40 years, and I never really thought about fear and control being co-laborers. And as I was doing this research for my book, Mind Battles, just released, guys, get it hot off the press, come on. It's available wherever you order books, or you can go over to kathydegrawministries.org. I'll be signing books that go out of here in the month of January 2023. And so I was researching this, and my husband actually came home one day, and he was talking about someone at work who was really controlling. Well, she's also afraid of storms. And I used to be afraid of storms. And my daughter was afraid of storms. And my daughter's been afraid of a tree falling on her car in the wind, or a tree falling on a house with the storms. And so we were talking about storms and fear and control. And my husband's coworker said, well, I'm afraid of storms because I can't control them. And when I was talking to my daughter, we were actually driving in some really adverse weather, honestly. And she changed lanes. And I'm like, why are you changing lanes? And she goes, well, there's trees there. And if that wind blows a tree down, I don't want it to land on my vehicle. And they were small trees that, wind could actually blow down. And I'm like, there's some control here. And as we were discussing that, we came to the realization, and the Lord was affirming this through so many different things and situations, that a lot of people fear what they can't control. And so for the coworker at my husband's work, she's like, well, I can't control storms. So she's afraid of them. My daughter couldn't control if a tree was going to fall on her house or on her vehicle. But I want to show you even a little bit more of a legal right or a root cause in the case of my daughter. Because a lot of you would be like, well, Kathy, that's really not a normal fear. Why would someone fear just driving down the road or being in their house and having a tree fall? Why would you even think that? Okay. So the root cause of that, friends, was we had this big tree in our front yard, and it was actually like 5 trees in one. Before we bought this house, no one groomed it. And so you had like 5 huge trunks coming out of one tree. Well, one of the trunks hung over our roof. And we had a tree trimmer tell us once that if we were going to go and cut that down, it could jeopardize the whole tree. And it would kill the whole tree. And we weren't ready to take it down at that time in our life. And so this tree trunk hung over her and her sister's bedroom. And when the storms came, they could hear the wind of that tree, and it instilled fear in them. And, they couldn't control it. And so that remembrance for her of that tree being over the roof made her think about their own trees in their yard and even driving in a storm because she couldn't control it. And so this is just in storms, guys, but I want you to think about what you fear because you can't control. Do you fear your finances because you really can't control them? You can't control your income coming in. You can't control that debt being paid off. Do you fear people? Do you have a fear of man because you can't control them? Think about that. I know, like, even growing up, my parents couldn't control me. And I wasn't like this big rebellious, kid, but I was strong-willed a little bit. And so they let me do whatever I wanted because they were afraid of losing me, afraid of pushing me away. And so I want you to think about that for your own children. Do you have a rebellious child? Do you have someone that you kind of wear kid tender gloves with in your life because you can't control them and you're afraid of losing them? So can you see how this correlation of fear and control exists? And it goes much deeper, much wider, guys. But I was just like enthralled as the Lord was showing me this as I was doing this study. And I dedicated an entire chapter to fear and control in my book. Because I'm like, this is pertinent information. People need to know how fear and control co-labor. Now, I want you to think about maybe your own parents. Who's controlling you? Is it been mom, dad? Is it a husband? Is it a wife? Okay, who do you feel like has controlled you? Why are they controlling you? What are they afraid of? And I'm going to go to the storm issue again, okay? So my mom would always try and control with her words. Don't go out and drive in the snow. You might get in an accident, okay? What's that? Control and fear together. We would get a storm that would come in the neighborhood, and she'd open up our Michigan cellar, which is basically, like a 6-foot dirt hole in the floor, and we'd all have to go in it. Because why? She would control us to go down in there because she was afraid. It wasn't just like a protection. I remember one time she said, don't drive on the snow. You'll get in an accident. I did. I had a snow plow push me into the ditch, and her control then what? It instilled fear in me, fear in her. And I had to overcome that as an adult. And so I want you to think about and give people grace of who's controlling you. Why are they controlling you? Think about that. Why are they controlling you? What are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? Did you ever think, maybe we should feel sorry for some of those people that are trying to control us because they really have some fear. And so, friends, in my next episode, I'm going to continue this. and we're going to help you root out, find that legal right, that entry point of control in your life so you can get free and stay free. But meanwhile, guys, get my book, Mind Battles. I have charts, graphs, exercises, prayers, declarations. It really is a book and a workbook to your freedom. You can grab that this month at kathydegrawministries.org. In January 2023, I will be signing every copy, or you can always get it wherever books are sold forever and ever. This is going to be your key to root out mental triggers to release peace.
Thank you for listening to the Prophetic Spiritual Warfare podcast. Receive additional teaching through Kathy's web church Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook, or through her Prophetic Spiritual Warfare book. I invite you to visit kathydegrawministries.org for books, mentoring, blogs, or to invite Kathy to speak at your event. Follow Kathy on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram at Kathy DeGraw. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. This helps our show rise in the rankings and reach more people to bring forth deliverance.